Teachtopia TV, and we're going to continue our tutorial on HTML5 and specifically how to make a web page using HTML5. It's very important that you watch the tutorials in sequence. That means if this is number 2, so you also want to watch number 1 before you watch number 2. So if you recall back in tutorial number 1, we made an HTML file. We called it thiswillwork.html. It's being represented by a Chrome icon just because that's a program associated on this computer to open web pages. But if we right click on it, you'll see we could open it up with any of the browsers that are installed on your particular computer. And I recommend installing more than one browser. That means if you're on Linux, Windows, or the Mac OS, go ahead and install a couple different types of web browsers just so you can see how the experience is different on different browsers, or potentially different on different browsers. Then you go about using the HTML5 to fix it. All right, so let's go ahead and use Notepad. And we're going to go in and open up Notepad. That is our text editor that we're using today. I'm opening up Notepad. And now I'm going to open up that file we're working on, File Open. I'm keeping it on the desktop, the file, but you could, of course, create a folder for your HTML files. Desktop here. Okay. Clicking on Desktop. And I want to click on All Files because I made it an HTML file so it didn't come up as a text file. This will work. I'm opening it up. Okay, so the first thing we did before is we created a doc type HTML, so the browser knows it's HTML. We have an opening tag and a closing tag. Notice we have our inequality signs on both sides of our tags. Everything within there is HTML. Now the next thing we're going to do, and if you remember before, the only thing that our document showed was hello. And I promised you that in tutorial 2, we are going to add a title to our web page. Now a title is unique in a web page. And a title is not necessarily something that occurs right here in a web page, but rather it's going to occur as the name of the web page. And it's very significant. And why? Because you want your internet page to be recognized by search engines. So for example, if I create my sites like teachtopia.com or my wife controls a site called lawithkids.com, it's very important that people have the title in the title tag. You'll see what I mean in a second as we develop that. So let's go ahead and create first a section that's called heading and use the word head even though it's for your heading. And we're going to close that. Now, when you think of the word head, of course, you think of the top of something. And that's what we're working on right now. We're working on the title, which is going to be on the top of something. So let's go ahead and we're going to call this what? We said we're going to work on a title. So what do you think the tag is going to be? That's right. It's called title. Let's spell everything right. Now, one thing you need to know about HTML and basically coding or programming in general is you really have to have your spelling right on. Okay? Whereas this HTML is not case sensitive, at least in terms of the browsers I've used, it's not case sensitive. The spelling is significant. All right, so let's go ahead and what should we call our page? Let's call it This Will Work. Okay, so our title of our web page, or this particular web page, because again you might have a series of web pages that link to each other as part of a larger web page, but the title of this particular page that's going to open is to be called This Will Work. Okay, now one more thing that we didn't do and we should do. If everyone has a head, correct? Well, below your head, what do you have? Well, you might have to say your neck, but the best answer here is going to be body, and that's the correct answer. So body. Now, body is where the text of our page is going to go. So here I have my opening tag, here I have my closing tag. Do you see this forward slash? Remember, body begins, body ends. Heading begins, heading ends. All represented by that forward slash there. Okay. Now, let's go ahead, save, file, and it's going to save what's right there. It's going to save it right there. That's the representation for it. File, save. And now, let's click and let's see if it now has the title. Because that's our goal right now. And we're checking to see, and there it does. Wow, this will work is the title of our page, and her logo is still represented right there. All is well, in that we now not only have a web page, but we have a web page with a title. Now in tutorial number 3, we're going to finally go and manipulate that text. Well, we did go into the body section here and add a beginning the beginning body tag and ending body tag. We didn't move around hello or change color or put hyperlinks, etc. But in tutorial number 3, we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. So please go to HTML5 tutorial number 3, and you will see that.